30 pastors can be preaching, but when you cough, everybody wants to hear. And then you are wondering, what is this? It's a power. You found it when you were digging into God. They say, with joy, you draw waters from the wells of salvation. There are many waters there, but you draw it. You draw it. Will take power. There are certain things in God that you will press for 2 years before it breaks open. You are there, you are pressing. You are there, you are pressing. And suddenly the door breaks open, you enter. And then something happens to you in 24 hours that is more important than the last 10 years. And people look at you, they say you are lucky. There's nothing like luck. Anything you see happening in a man's life is a revelation of the location he has been in the spirit. Our manifestations are a testimony of our journeys in the spirit. When you go there, it will come out with you. There's a place where power dwells. There's a place where influence dwells. There's a place where wisdom dwells. When you go there, you come out with it. And when you come out with wisdom, you may be young, but you are older than your age. Because what you are operating with is ancient. You can sit down in your studio and cook a beat. That one beat you created from your studio, they will buy it for 10 million naira. It's not about your age. It's about where you have traveled to. You can say something that is older than your great-grandfather, and men will hear you and say, by what spirit does he carry these oracles? Because your words are no longer words. They have become laws in the spirit. And when you talk, your generation must hear you. It is a power, but it's in a location in the spirit. When the devil wants to reduce the quality of your existence, he depletes your energy, so you can no longer journey. You know, the Bible says God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all you ask or think, but it's according to the power at work on your inside. When that power weakens, the quality of your life goes down. Although God is sovereign, he will not be able to do. God is able to do according to the power at work on your inside. If there's no power at work on your inside, God will not be able to do. And so when you find men who are asleep, they don't have spiritual energy. They sleep on God. Anything that has to do with God weakens them. And they don't know why their lives is up and down. But find a man who has found strength in the presence. He said they go from strength to strength. Every one of them in Zion that appeared before the Lord, from strength to strength, from glory to glory, from wisdom to wisdom, from power to power, from realms to realms, from grace to grace. And people look at you, they say, what is happening? You say, I'm just traveling. I'm just traveling. I'm just traveling. There are some things you cannot find until you go to Dubai. No matter how much money you have to go to Dubai to find it. There are some things you cannot find until you go to Beijing, China. No matter how much money you have, those things are not in your location. They are not in Lagos. You must travel to bring them. You may have all the money in Lagos, but those things are not in Lagos. If you can't go to China, you can't find them. And if you cannot go, you have to buy from those who go. You buy. But you know the disadvantage with buying, any amount they charge you, you will pay. That's why some people have to kneel down for others. Because there is one who has capacity and another doesn't have. And so you need honor to draw it from the person. You will need service to draw it from the person. If you are proud, you will die. Have you not seen our rich man? I want to buy a diamond of so amount of weight. They say you can't find it in Nigeria. It's only in Dubai. Bring it for me. Pay this money. You have no choice. You must pay. And if you don't pay, you too travel. And so if you want your life to be unapologetically successful, build energy. Build energy. Build energy. So every one of you seated here is supposed to be a king, to reign in life. But if you are not reigning in life, it means something is wrong. You are not allowing your light shine on you. And what will stop the light from shining on you is when you remain in the state of slumber. And so number one, we need to understand what the slumber is. Number two, we need to understand how to align with the powers that wakes us up. And number three, we need to know how to receive the light of Christ so that we can shine in our world. If we are able to achieve that, 10 of us is enough for Lagos. You discover that Lagos is too small. That 10 of us can shut down Lagos. 10. One will go into the academia. One will go into music. One will go into government. And you will come with a glory that the world has never seen. The reason we are the way we are is because we have not allowed Christ to mingle with us until we reflect him. Paul said, henceforth, No we, no man after the flesh. So when you meet a Christian, every Christian is supposed to be the reflection of a dimension of Christ. When we meet you, we should see something of Christ in you. And that becomes the definition of your life. But that will only happen when you arise. So the fullness of the Godhead dwells in Jesus bodily. And when you were created, the Bible said, this is the mystery of the age. Christ in you, the hope of glory. So the fullness of the Godhead is in Christ, and then Christ is in you. Who are you? The God that the heaven can accommodate, the earth can accommodate, is in Christ, and then Christ is in you. Who are you? Because the devil knows he doesn't have enough power to go to where DNAs are coupled. What he does is that he waits in time. And so when the man comes into time, what he does is that he gives him a sedating agent. And so when the man takes it, the man falls asleep. And so now he comes to edit the program of God. So he said, why men slept, the enemy sowed tares in the midst of the wheat. When you came into the world, you were ordained a prophet. But while you were sleeping, the devil changed your destiny and turned you to a soothsayer. You were created to come into the world as a leader who will function in the order of a king. But before you came, the devil went through your grandfather and programmed something because he was asleep. And you came, you too were asleep, and you gave him permission, and he turned a king into a slave. He said, I have seen abomination on the face of the earth. He said, kings, princes are trekking, white beggars are riding on horses. So there's an abomination the devil brings into the human ecosystem, that he entered into the program God created, and he edited the program and perverted it. But the reason he had so much liberty to do it is because men slept. Men slept. So a warrior can become a victim, a king can become a servant, a prophet can become a fornicator, and a ruler can become a slave, because men slept. When the Bible said, awake, awake, he was trying to restore divine program. He was trying to reprogram what the devil altered. And so the cry for an awakening is a cry for the program of God to find expression. The first reason why the devil wants men asleep is so that he can inject his own program. He doesn't have what it takes to go where destinies are formulated. And so he will wait for destinies to manifest so that he can alter them. But he will not be able to alter them until men sleep. Number two, why is your slumber so important to the devil? Number two, the only way the devil can take over a territory is when men are asleep. Because when you change the program, there has to be a place for it to manifest. I'm telling you about Lagos. You know, some people came into Lagos, they say they are looking for job opportunity. They don't know that Lagos is a busy place in the spirit realm. They don't know the princes that rule in the territory. And so they came into Lagos innocent. But after 4 years, they have become masters of swindling and manipulation. They don't even know when it happened, because they came under an ecosystem. And in that ecosystem, there's a law in the atmosphere. You must obey that law to survive. And because the devil knows that your answers will always come in disguise, he will make sure that he puts you to sleep so that you don't recognize it. I can tell you today, most of the people who are frustrated in life, they have had opportunities of intervention many times, but they didn't recognize the opportunities because their opportunities came in disguise. It didn't come the way they should have expected it. The devil will put you to sleep so that he can plant his program, so that he can take over your territory, and so that you cannot see your salvation when your salvation appears. Having said this, what is a spiritual slumber? What is sleep? This sleep we are talking about, is this something you go home and lie on your bed? No, it's deeper than that. There are many things that defines spiritual slumber. But because I don't have time, I give you 4 of them very quickly. Number 1, spiritual slumber is spiritual blindness. A state where you lack discernment. The devil takes off discernment from your life. So you cannot see anything spiritually. You see everything naturally. And all your answers come spiritually. It will take the eyes of the spirit to see your salvation. But you see, when the devil reduces you to carnal mindedness, he has blinded you. And when it blinds you, there is no way you can recognize your salvation if it comes. I can tell you today, even those who are in church, more than 70% are natural men. They are carnally minded. They function by the traditions of their fathers. You ask them, they say, we are Igbos. We don't do like that. We are Idomas. We don't do like this. We are Yorubas. We don't do like this. Your answer does not recognize Igbo or Yoruba. Your answer is spiritual. And so if you want to receive your answer, you must ascend beyond the threshold of the natural man and watch in the spirit to pick your answer. If you reduce yourself to ethnic values, if you reduce yourself to the systems that society have designed, you have cut yourself off from God's intervention. It is called the state of carnality, the state of the natural man. You can be saying you are Igbo, you are Igbo. Your greatest answer may come from a Yoruba man. If you don't have discernment, you will kick your answer away. You may say you are high-minded, you are a big man. Your biggest answer may come from a servant. It will take discernment to recognize the disguise of spiritual intervention. If you don't have discernment, you are gone. So most men who are asleep, they are asleep because they are blinded. Romans chapter 8 verse 9. Hear what the Bible said. It said to be carnally minded is death. It said but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So when the devil wants men asleep, he makes them carnal. So a man can be driving but he's sleeping. A man can be dancing but he's sleeping. You know why? He is blinded. He cannot pick spiritual signals. It is spiritual signals that will tell a billionaire your house gear is your salvation. It is spiritual signal that will tell a Hausa man that your solution is an Igbo man. It is spiritual signal that will tell somebody in London that your answer is in Nigeria. If you don't know, you will revert the protocol of your destiny. Many people are going towards the UK. It doesn't mean if you go there you will survive. Go there if you are led. You can go there and be frustrated and run back, but your season would have passed. I told myself some years ago, I was looking for power. Nobody who had it will open his door for me. You will call, they will not pick. I used to be offended, and God told me, stop wasting your time. They have it, you don't have it. So you call somebody, you are angry. All these men of God, they cannot pick. Why are they not picking? Because they think they're important. Oh God, they have something. It's either you are patient to keep calling, or you too build energy. Alakoa, build energy. My brother was sick. I didn't have power to address sickness. I called many people. They didn't pick. My brother died. And from the day he died, I told myself, I call nobody no more. Anywhere power dwells, I will travel there. And I began a 5 years fast. Every day, 6 to 6. I break in the evening, I continue the next day. I break in the evening, I continue the next day. On one occasion, as I was praying, my wall opened. And light came out of the wall. Light, like a fluorescent bulb. That was when I knew that the wall can only limit man, not spirits. And the light entered me. The first layer of power that came to me was wisdom. And I could sit down and say things that people read and they don't know. Because light had appeared to me. At another point, I sat in my room and I started feeling heat on different parts of my body. And as I began to inquire in the spirit, that was when God told me, your ordinations are waking up. You are a revivalist. You carry the flames of glory. And so what they were doing, they were charging me up. And as they were charging me, a point came when I speak, my walls became like balls of fire. All those things were potential, but I needed to travel. That was when I discovered that in my lineage, people didn't have energy to engage God. And so the cure of the issue was to build power in the spirit. I was praying and the wall of my room disappeared. And I saw two creatures standing. One had 10 horns. The other one was like a corpse that was decayed and was removed from the grave. And the angel that was talking to me told me, these are the principalities that bind men in your village. And he took me to my father's compound and he started showing me people of different generations and the things they used to rope them. Pride, womanization, drunkenness, and lying. He said, if you are able to resist these things, he said, you will be great, whether men like it or not. So I discovered greatness is not a gift. Greatness is an entrustment. What if I didn't journey to where that angel was? How would I have known that my key for greatness is to avoid 4 things? But it will take power to go there. When the devil wants to keep you asleep, it takes spiritual energy from your spirit. See, somebody will leave this conference, you will tell yourself, I die on the altar. Nothing carries me from God's presence. You will be there. Sleep, wake up, remain there. We hungry, eat, come back, stay there. If you are there, after a while, the fountains of the great deep will begin to open. Don't live there, stay there. That's where your salvation is. If you don't satisfy hunger, you can do nothing. And so the first thing God does in order to break you out of sleep is to inject hunger into your spirit. When hunger enters your spirit, you become like the deer. The Bible said, as the deer panted after the waters, it says, so my soul longeth after thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. Now, they tell us that the deer, when it is thirsty, it can perceive the scent of water from 200 miles away. And so a deer that is thirsty, if he can begin to, he will be in the wilderness, he can tell you where water is 200 miles, and all you'll be hearing is he's looking for water. It will come to the water, it will know that there are crocodiles there, but it cannot stop itself. Even though there are crocodiles in that water, it will still go and drink. It will rather die than not drink that water. Most of the deers that are killed, they are killed by crocodiles when they go to drink water. But when they are thirsty, they can't hold themselves. The thirst is a power that breaks their will. And so when God wants to wake you up, he injects hunger into your spirit. A hunger for God that nothing can compromise. You will notice that the power of sin will die. The power of distraction will die. And you can sit with God for the whole day. Nothing can switch your attention. You'll find a man who is hungry. He can enter his closet, shut the door, off the light, and is quiet there for 10 hours. And you are wondering, what kind of power is this? This one is not power to heal the sick. No. Because there is a realm where people are not sick. The greatest kind of power is not the power to heal the sick. The greatest kind of power is not the power to raise the dead. The greatest kind of power is the power to stay in the presence. To stay. The Bible said the four beasts, day and night, forever and ever, they were singing, holy, holy, holy. How can you be saying holy, 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 forever and ever, day and night, and you don't get tired? There's a power on their inside. The more they chant it, the more they want to chant it. The more they chant it, the more they want to chant it. That power keeps them there. And as they are doing it, the glory of God is opening to them. And they are beholding, and they are being changed. As they are beholding, they are being changed. So when they come out of God's presence, they become like the God that they have beheld. And so when you look at them, you will no longer see them. You will see God in them. Because when you tarry, God rubs off on you. That's when your generation will respect you. That's when your generation will hear you. But it will take hunger for you to journey that far. You can't travel without hunger. The fuel of the spirit is spiritual hunger. If you lose hunger, your journey stops. But when hunger is there, you can travel without ending. Some are controlled by their anger. They use 10 years to build something. They use 1 day to destroy it. And then they come back, they say, I don't know why. Their desires, their emotions, their appetites, have mastered them. It's a state of death. Any man whose desires rule is a man who is asleep to reality. Finally, a man who is asleep is a man who is controlled by the oppressive power of the devil. When the devil cannot use things to control you, he shows up himself. And that's where you see people who are demonized. So the devil literally subverts and subjugates their will. Even though they want to, they cannot. The devil is not just using things. He has possessed them. And he makes them a slave. So they can never fulfill destiny. And so when we talk about spiritual slumber, we are talking about spiritual blindness. A state of no discernment. When we talk about spiritual slumber, we are talking about spiritual weakness. A state when a man cannot exercise himself in godliness. When we talk about spiritual slumber, we are talking about a state of demonic oppressions where a man is literally ruled and his will is subjugated by demons. And when we talk about spiritual slumber, we are talking about a state where your appetites have become your God. Your belly have become your God. If you are in these four states, you can never fulfill God's plan for your life. And the only answer that God has for you is for you to awake. He said, awake, awake from the dead. He said, and Christ will give you life. What are the weapons the devil uses? Number 1, deception. Number 2, lust and pleasure. Number 3, distraction. Number 4, sin and iniquity. The reason you can be held by the power of slumber is because you allow these 4 weapons to rule over you. Deception, lust, distraction, sin and iniquity. There are some people who are not sinning, but they are distracted. There are some people who are not sinning, but they are deceived. They believe that anything you say from the Bible is a lie. It's an attempt to either take money from them or to confuse them. And so they say, you and your Bible, stay somewhere else. Meanwhile, this is the oldest book of inspiration on earth. This is the most probed book on earth. And no book can survive even scholastic tests as much as the Bible. But you are reading the Bible, they say, no, we are done with the Bible. They are deceived. They are deluded. It's a sign of defeat in the last day. And so if you don't want to be a slave of slumber, you must win the battle over deception. You must win the battle over lust. You must win the battle over distraction. And you must win the battle over sin and iniquity. Because these are the powers the devil uses to enslave men. Some people can go for a retreat for 40 days on the mountain. The moment they come back, they go and gather 3 seasonal movies and they start watching. After 40 days retreat, prayer and fasting, they enter their phone immediately, TikTok. And this TikTok is not a message. They watch a comedian, they finish from a comedian, they see somebody who is naked doing something, they go and see a movie thriller, so they just junk up their spirit in 5 minutes. 10 hours of waiting on God, all of the energy that is built up is depleted in 5 minutes. And so they just wasted the whole day because of 5 minutes. They have no power over distraction. If distraction is in you, if lust is in you, if sin and iniquity is in you, and if deception has taken a root in you, whether you like it or not, the devil will keep you in the state of slumber. Now, when men slept, see what the princes began to do. They began to invite more wicked spirits. He said, all ye beasts of the field, come and devour. That's why I told you, the devil devours systematically. He said, yea, all ye beasts in the forest. He said, come. He said, his watchman is blind. They are ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, and loving slumber. So when you sleep, the demon that came to make you sleep will not do anything. He will now go out and blow a trumpet and say, if there's any wicked spirit here who is looking for where to take dominion and to destroy, come, I've created an atmosphere. I've secured a territory. I've gotten a chamber. And so even spirits that have no business with you, they will be invited to come. And so every spirit will gang up to make sure that destiny does not work. How do you see a young man? Him alone is a womanizer. Him alone is a drug addict. Him alone pulled out of school. Him alone cannot do any business. And every day he's looking for something to smoke. One man, different influence. How can that destiny manifest? You meet that person, which one will you start with? Is it the womanizing you will start with, or the drugs that he injects in his blood, or the smoking, or the stealing, or the lying? So you see that one person is a compendium of problems because many spirits were invited and they are using that man as a gate to achieve their purpose. If Christ does not shine his light, that person is doomed. Because the day you want to help him, one other one will manifest. You take him out of the street, you say, let me give you a home. You are the first person he will gang up with to kill. You find somebody stranded on the road, you say, let me help this young man. You now bring him home. The next thing, he hears that you are bringing money to the house. That thing will wake up inside him. He will now quickly tell people, my Oga is bringing money. And then he will be the person to open the gate at night so that they will kill you. He will run away, spend that money in 2 weeks and go back to where he was. And then you are asking, I wanted to give you a future. Won't you think it's not his fault? All the beasts of the field have been invited. And he cannot but do their biddings. He cannot but fulfill their agenda. He cannot but play out their purposes. So the devil takes over territories when men sleep so that he can devour. Third reason, why does the devil want men asleep? Because the cry of the bridegroom is at midnight. When God comes, he does not come based on human schedule. He comes based on his own schedule. And so the devil knows that if you are asleep, when God is bringing deliverance, you may never know. And so in order for you never to find your salvation, he will insist that you remain asleep. The reason many are not fulfilling destiny, the reason many will not count when time is accomplished, the reason the existence of many will count for nothing, because we are pilgrims here. This is not our home. We are passing through time. But it will be unfortunate to sleep through time, because when you return to Zion, your existence would have been a waste. Imagine if you were traveling maybe to Houston and you had to pass through London and there is a 4-hour layover and then you sleep off, the flight goes. You will become a stranger. You will be a wanderer, because there's no allocation for you in London. You are not a citizen. You don't have enough resources to survive. So when you see Christians who are stranded on earth, this is the reason. They are asleep in transit. And because they are asleep in transit, they are not citizens of earth. There's no allocation for them. Number two, they don't have enough resources to survive. And so what the devil will do is that he will write a new destiny for them. And you see, the devil cometh not but for to kill, to steal, and to destroy. So everything the devil gives you will lead you to destruction and death. This is why this kind of sleep is called death. And so many are walking, but they are walking corpse. They are dead. They cannot pick the signals of heaven. They cannot align to their kingdom. They cannot draw from their realm. The resources for their survival is not in this realm. It's in another aeon. Their job is to leap out of time like mist into Zion and draw resources from there. It is the resources they are able to draw from heaven that gives them advantage in time. Unfortunately, they are asleep when kings go to war. So we need to understand the great sleep, so you will know why your life is the way it is. The second thing the Bible reveals there is the power that binds men. The power. Because this kind of sleep is a sleep that is orchestrated by a power. That's why you need a trumpet to wake up. If you sleep naturally, when it's daybreak, you will wake up. But when a power keeps you asleep, you need another power to wake you up. You know, when you are about to undergo a major operation and they give you an anesthetic, even if you feel like waking up, you won't wake up until the influence of that drug wears away. If you have to wake up, then another drug will have to wake you up. So this kind of sleep is orchestrated by a power. So you need to understand the power you need to wake up, and so that you begin to align to those powers. Because if you don't know those powers, when those powers begin to come into your ecosystem, you will not respond. The reason many are still sleeping is because when what is to wake them up approached them, they didn't recognize it. And so they didn't catch it. And because they didn't catch it, they remained in the grave of slumber. So we need to understand the powers that wake men from slumber. And every one of us seated here, at one point or the other, that power has knocked on our doors. If we are still sleeping, it's because we don't know the protocol of the operations of those powers. Sleep, spiritual sleep. Why does the devil want you asleep? Why? Why does the devil pay so much price to keep you asleep? Because it takes a lot to keep a warrior sleeping. Because we were created as warriors. We were created as kings. We were created in the order and in the class of God. It takes a lot to keep a warrior sleeping. Why does the devil go through the pain and spend so much resources to keep you asleep? I'll give you 3 reasons. Number 1, because his programs can only be instituted when you are asleep. When you are awake, the agenda of the devil is truncated. The devil cannot work if we are awake. The Bible said, why men slept, it said the enemy came and sowed tares amongst the wheat. The grasses cannot be planted when you are awake. Now, the Bible said before we were formed in our mother's womb, it said God knew us. He ordained us for a specific purpose. Now, what the Bible is talking about is a reality that took place before earth was created. And so before the foundation of the earth was created, God sat down and he knew everyone that will walk on the face of the earth in the dispensations that will walk. And so the way God sends his own errand is through men. And so when he was injecting you into your mother's womb, allocating you into your generation, there is an errand he injected in your spirit. Imagine before time began, God sat down and God knew your own lineage. Imagine how many people has come out of your own lineage. Your lineage alone, you may be the 100th generation. And in every generation, the number increased. And God sat down and injected programs into every one of us. And at the right dispensation, he transports us through the gate of the womb into time. And the devil knows that he doesn't have power to go into the studio of eternity where destinies are created. Because the devil himself is a created being. He is limited. No matter how smart he is, he cannot pass into eternity and enter the studio. There is a place called let us make man in our own image. Genesis 1:26 is a spiritual location. It's a studio where only the Godhead is permitted to enter. Even angels don't go there because the wisdom required to put your DNA together, only God has access to it. Angels don't go there. No being goes there. Only God has the power to travel back into time and enter into a studio that is eternal to couple you together. Your brain alone has more than 1 billion neurons. Your brain. And every cell in your body is bigger than the galaxies. One cell. And you have more than 1 billion cells in your body. Now, what God put together, the machine he built called man, when God himself finished, he looked at it and he said, you are fearfully and wonderfully. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, because it is only man that has the capacity to host God. Before man came, God was looking for a dwelling place. He said, where is the place of my dwelling? Even heaven cannot accommodate him. He said the earth is his footstool. But when he created man, he said, let him be my image and my likeness. And when Christ came to model the first man, he said he pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell. So the devil allows men to sleep so that he can take over territories, dominate those territories, and establish his laws in those territories. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8. I want to give you scripture so that you read them. Don't worry, tonight is our first night. Tomorrow night will come explosive. He said, be sober. What does that mean? Be awake. Be conscious. He said, be vigilant. This is double emphasis. Be sober. Be vigilant. He said, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, is walking about seeking whom he may devour. Be sober, be vigilant. You have an enemy. You didn't choose him, he chose you. You know, you think the only time you can have a problem with somebody is when you have misunderstanding. Before there was ever a misunderstanding, there is somebody who made himself your enemy. The Bible calls him your adversary. And he said this your adversary has the character of a lion that devours. So he doesn't know how to show mercy. He's aggressive and ferocious, and his anger does not diminish. The propensity of his wickedness is ever increasing. It is natural to him to be wicked. He's moving like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. But you see, the way the devil devours men is not just to eat them up. It's to create a territorial program so that when they are gone, even their children will enter the trap. Most of you, the battles you are fighting now is the battles your great-grandfather created. Because he needed money urgently, he went and buried a virgin. And because he did that, there is a blood crying against your lineage. When you came, you didn't know anything happened. But the one who devours systematically. And so he took over an atmosphere. He took over an environment. I'm showing you the things that the light of Christ will break off your life. That's why when you awake, Christ will have to shine on you. If Christ does not shine on you, the territory will still be in darkness. You want to find a man who is asleep, he doesn't have energy to engage God. He doesn't have power in the spirit. He can sit with his friend and gossip from morning till night. He enjoys it. In fact, he's in his elements. When he's gossiping somebody, he is agile, he's strong. But the moment you tell him, let's go out for evangelism, all his energy goes down immediately. That's a man who is asleep. If he's not yet going through crisis, it's because the devil doesn't have his time yet. You know, the devil is not God. He doesn't have all the resources he needs. So what the devil does is that he sets men on timetable. He visits men at different times. He said there's an evil day. There's an evil day. The devil doesn't visit everybody at the same time. Only God has the power to visit everybody at the same time. The devil's resources are limited. And so he waits for the day that he can do much damage to you. That's the day he comes. And so if you don't have energy for spiritual things now, you may say, come on, those things don't matter. It no matter. Look at my life. I'm doing well. Your timetable has not come. The demons are looking at you and laughing. They know you are not wise. Your timetable has not come. Your timetable may come 20 years later. Have you not seen professors? After laboring for 30 years, they are going home for Christmas. And a girl of 10 years is sent from the demonic coven for IT, spiritual IT. They are teaching her how to somersault vehicle. And a girl of 10 years stand on the road and does like this. And they cast somersault. And the professor, his wife, and 4 children dies. And then you are wondering, what happened? They were waiting for him. When he went to the university, did his first degree, did second degree, did third degree, they were waiting. No, it's not yet time. He now began to lecture. And he lectured for 30 years. That is the day his calendar came. And he doesn't have energy. If he had energy, maybe that morning while he was praying, he would have picked a signal. Don't go out. That one signal is more important than the last 30 years of his life. If he had energy while he's praying, something would have woke up on his inside. So when he stands up, as he's going, the power will stop him. If he want to go, he will stop. If he want to go, he will stop. Because signals in the spirit, things are moving. This is not the right day to go out. And the man will go back home. That going back home is the salvation of 6 family members. But when there's no energy, you cannot journey in the spirit. Different things are in different locations in the spirit. Your answer, they are different places. The Bible said he has blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Christ Jesus. It will take energy for you to journey there. And so if you don't journey to where favor is, you may never find it. If you don't journey to where wisdom for financial breakthrough is, you will never have it. If you don't journey to where spiritual intervention is, you will never find it. And so when you are exercising in the spirit, you are traveling somewhere. You are traveling somewhere. You will journey. You will come to where favor is. You will wear it as a garment. And so 10 people can go for an interview. They reject them. When you come with an aroma. I wish you know these things by experience. Please hear me. Hear me. Hear me. Everything we do in the physical has a spiritual significance. And it also has a spiritual foundation. The significance is the purpose. The foundation is the empowerment. God sent me to set men on fire so they can fulfill their destiny. But you see, before I was ever commissioned to do that, I myself was set on fire. There is a fire that came upon my life in the days of my consecration. Tonight, there are 7 of you that are about to receive that same order of baptism. You will not just be set on fire for God. You'll become an agent of baptisms of fire. Baptisms of fire. Father, wherever they are, now is the time. Now. It is now that the cloud is beginning to come down. The cloud. The weights are beginning to descend. I'm seeing 3 people on the gallery, especially by my right here. There's an ordination of priesthood on your life. The power to stand on the altar and to bring judgments and legislation. The judgments of Elohim to dethrone princes, to open territories. Everyone there with that ordination of the priests, the watchers, in the name of the Christ, take that grace now. Those of you here, you will never be the same again. A protocol has been activated in your heart. This hunger will overwhelm you. There are some of you, for the next 1 week, you will just be crying. You'll just be crying because God is breaking into you, so that spiritual installations can take place. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, He knew you, and there's an ordination for you. Before this conference is over, you will walk in it. So let it be written. So let it be established. In Jesus' precious name.